Hi there, this is Donna again. I'm here to show you a couple of alternative cards that I made using the paper pumpkin stamp set that we got in the kit and the additional stamp set that we got in the kit. These were the two stamp sets. Mine has gotten a little stained, but that's okay. They work perfectly fine. So the first one I want to show you is this card. Now what I've gone ahead and I've taken the Let Your Love Grow from the paper pumpkin set and the boots and the grass from the extra set, right? The grass and the boots. And then I'm using the gravel from the paper pumpkin set. Okay, so let's get started. I'm using black Memento ink, and I have cut I've cut a card base of balmy blue, and I cut that 8.5 by 5.5. I scored it at 4 1/4. Now I have a piece of Calypso Coral cardstock that is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. I know a lot of people don't like to use the eighth inch increments, but I do like them. Okay. So I just ran out. I want to show you some. If you're using our snail, when you run out and you need to replace it and put a refill in, you throw away the clear part. Okay, and we sell the refills, and you remove this piece of cardboard, and this just drops into place. Here, a snap. You open the door goes on the bottom, and this piece gets thrown away. Okay, so this is going to go on the card base first. Okay, and then I'm going to take this is the Designer Series paper that was called Pleased as Punch, because one side of the paper works with the 4 new punches that we got: the umbrella, the mini blossom punch, the heart punch, and the tulip punch. So we're gonna build this. Make sure your rain drops. So here's where the 1/8 inch comes in. I just wanted a little bit of color peeking out behind this. So let's do some stamping. I have this piece here, a piece of Whisper White. This is 2 1/4 by 5/8 of an inch, and I'm going to stamp right in the center. Let Your Love Grow. Okay, then we are going to on another piece of Whisper White. This measures, let's see, 3 inches by 3.5. Okay, 3 by 3.5, and I'm going to stamp my boots right near the bottom in the Memento black. Great thing about these photopolymer, you can see through to make sure you have enough ink on them. And stamp those down just like that. Now, one of the fun things about this stamp is they've actually put these little grassy things, they've put them together on the stamp set so that they'll fit perfectly on your boots. So I'm going to stamp them, and I'm gonna, my head might get in the way here because I have to get a little close. I want to stamp them so that they're coming right outside the boots, just like that. And then I'm going to take, this one looks like it's kind of curving to the right. I'm going to stamp it on this side of the boots. This is why we have the grid paper down, protect our surface. And then I'm going to stamp this one coming this way. Okay, and we are done with the green. I like to close it up, get rid of it. Now we're going to use Calypso Coral. So for this next thing, I take a piece of Post-it note, and on the sticky side, I don't cut it all off, but I just kind of make an uneven edge. And we're going to use this to put on these little blossoms, these little splotches. I think this was used for gravel in the paper pumpkin kit. So I'm just going to put this kind of like this, so I can go in and put some color onto those flowers, and I'll do it over here. And this is just, doesn't matter where they're going, it's just to add a little color. Some in the middle, and then we'll put some on the sides. And this kind of creates, having an uneven edge here makes it so that it doesn't look like it's such a, if you had a straight line it wouldn't look as nice. So we can put a little bit here, and I can go, let's see, like that. So we're just using this to mask it out. Okay, so that's that. So we'll put away that ink. Okay, now we're going to do some coloring. Close up all my inks. And I think what I'm going to do with this card, if you are one of my Paper Pumpkin subscribers, I'm going to send you this kit to put together. Okay, just for something fun to do while we're all stuck at home. So now I'm going to take my Balmy Blue markers, and I'm going to, these are the combo pens, the Stampin' Blends, and this is the combo set, so it comes dark and light. And I'm going to kind of go along the edge of the boot, and it's really, I'm going to color the whole bottom, the sole, dark. And it really doesn't matter how you do this. Some people like to put down the lighter color first. I'm going to do the top too. Top of the boot is going to be dark. Some people like to put the lighter color down first. I go back and forth. So I like to put the dark down. I'll leave that open. I might need it again. And I'm going to go back in, and if you've seen any of my other videos, you see how these, I love to color. You see how these markers go back in with a swirling motion and kind of go over that edge of the darker color. That way you don't see, it kind of blends, that's why they're called blends, kind of blends in. So I'm going to color all that in. And they're alcohol, so you want to work fast. Okay, go up over that. And you can go back in and add more dark if you'd like. So I think that looks pretty good. I think just to, you don't want to take, it's fun to color, but you don't want to kill yourself trying to figure out where it should be dark, where it should be light. Just kind of play with it. Give it, the dark and light, give it a little bit of a dimension. Okay, so I don't need that one anymore. So one of the things I noticed on here is these little, I don't know what they are. I guess I know this is like a little label. I don't know what the side pieces are. Maybe they're just buckles. I'm just going to color them in the Calypso Coral. And that's what I like about Stampin' Up! Is all our markers coordinate with our ribbons, they coordinate with our inks, they coordinate with our papers. So now this is going to get taped onto a piece of Calypso Coral that is 3 1/8 by 3 5/8. Okay. And when you're working with alcohol markers, you should make sure you have something underneath, because they do tend to seep through a little, and you don't want to ruin anything. So again, we have just a little teeny border around this edge. Okay, and I didn't put that on very straight. I'll leave it, because if I take it off now, I'll ruin it. Okay, so now we're going to take our sentiment and put this on our piece of Calypso Coral. Okay, now this is going to go up on dimensionals, and this is going to go straight down on the card. Okay, So I kind of lay that there, just like that, so I can kind of see where my card's going to go. And right about, let's see, right about here. Okay, then I can take this off and put this like that. Now I went ahead and grabbed some of our Whisper White twine. It is a great addition to cards, and it's, I think it's only like $3 or maybe $3.50 for this roll. And you get quite a bit on it. I've used a lot of this already, but it is a nice thing to add. Put a little something extra on your cards. And I'll grab a glue dot, and when I'm working with twine, I try to roll up that glue dot so that it's not so wide. Put that on, pinch it, and I just put this in the top corner of my card. And let's see. Oh, and then I forgot, on the inside, I put a little flower. So let's go back. We still have everything out. And let's see. Oh, I just stuck my hand in the glue. I mean the ink. We're going to take a card mat. Inside mat is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And we're going to ink up. We only need one side, so I'm just going to put that there. And take back our, get our Calypso Coral back. And ink that up, and make sure I'm in the image so you can see. Now we're going to go this way a little bit. Maybe a little bit more right there. Okay. So, and then this will get put inside our card. So like I said, if you're a current subscriber to Paper Pumpkin and you subscribed, let's clip those ribbons. I mean, clip the ends of the twine. We don't need them that long. So if you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber and under me, I will send you a kit to make this card. Okay, so now I have my next card is a little more difficult, but it really is cute. Let me just get all this out of the way. I like this next one. I was playing around this morning and I was looking at this image right here, and this is the flyer that came inside. Let's see if you can. This is the flyer that came inside the box. So what I did is I started to play around, and I came up with something that I like, and it's a little different from that, but sometimes that's how I get my ideas. Now this is what I came up with. So I started with that idea, and I got here. So I'm going to show you how I did this. I started with, well, let's stamp first. Let's get started. Get all my, like I said, we're using the free stamp set that came with March's Paper Pumpkin. And I will give you the measurements right now. We have our card base is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We have Designer Series paper from the 2019-2021 in color series. This is the Seaside Spray, and this is cut to 3 3/4 by 5. I have a piece of navy that is, let's see, where is it? 3 3/4 by 5. The navy is 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. I have a piece of crumb cake that's 2 3/4 by 3. I have a rectangle of Whisper White that's 2.5 by 2 3/4. And then I need some scrap Whisper White also. Okay, so let's put this aside and let's stamp our little door seam, I guess I'd call it. Okay. Again, I'm using Memento ink, and I'm going to press hard. I'm not sure if you know that our Memento pad is a felt pad, so it's a little harder than our colored pads, which are foam. So you got to give it a good press. And I'm going to stamp this as straight as possible right into the center of my card. And hold it down for a sec so the ink seeps in. Peel it away. That looks good. And while we're stamping, I'm going to take the stamp set, the stamp sentiment from the paper pumpkin, March's paper pumpkin, that says, "No matter the weather, we're in this together." And I'm just going to stamp it on a piece of Whisper White. And then one more thing that we're going to stamp is on the inside. I put the flower pot on the inside. So the flower pot comes on the extra stamp set that came with your kit. Okay, just like that. All right, I'm going to close my ink. So now, let's see. Let's get this out of the way. I shouldn't say get rid of it. I'm punching it with a 1.5 inch circle punch. Okay, then I wanted to show you. I want to sponge the edges of this, but I want to show you. We sell these sponges. You get 3 in a pack, and I think they're $4. What I do is I cut them in half, and then each half I cut into 3 wedges. So you get 6 of these sponges out of 6 wedges out of a sponge. Now you could cut it in half and cut it in 4, but I happen to like the bigger size. Now you can leave it like this, but what I like to do, and this is one that I've used quite a bit, is I take one of my label punches and I take the same cardstock that I've used, what I'm going to use, and cut it in half, and then I fold it in half like so, and I put it, now I don't seem to have my stapler nearby. Oh, there it is. I staple it. And that way I know that I've used the sponge for this particular color. So this is crumb cake. And it does look red, but believe me, it's crumb cake. And then I have little bags that I keep them in so that I can use them over and over. I have plenty of times when I've run out of sponges and I'm waiting for a shipment, I rip off this, take out the staple, rip that off, and I wash them in the sink, let them air dry, and I can use them all over again. But anyway, so enough of that little discussion. So I'm going to take my crumb cake and I'm going to sponge the edge of this circle. And then we're all set to use it. It'll be all ready when we need it. Okay, so let's get rid of all that. Okay, so our house, our doorway. I am using the crumb cake combo set of the Stampin' Blends, and I'm using the Seaside Spray. Because we're using Seaside Spray, we have everything that matches. We're using crumb cake and Seaside Spray, so I'm using the Stampin' Blends. Like I said, that's one of the great things about Stampin' Up. Everything blends together, everything coordinates together. So what I did with this, and I was just playing around, and I think I started with the windows, and I put like a backwards L on each window, and you could color this all in with one color if you wanted, but I was just kind of playing, and this is how sometimes my best ideas come out. So I was coloring that in with the blue. Then I went back and I used the lighter blend and just kind of did the other side. It's very subtle. You can hardly tell that I used 2 colors, but I do like it. And then you can go back in and put a little bit darker if you wanted to. It just gives it a little bit of dimension. Okay. I like this doorway. I wish this was my house. Okay. So, while let's see, we'll do the flowers later. Okay, so now I'm going to take my Stampin', my crumb cake Stampin' Blend. I'm going to start with the dark, and I want to get a kind of watercolory look with this. And I'm just kind of going in and doing a little bit here and there, and not particularly paying attention, just here and there. I just don't want to touch the door. I'm leaving the door white. Now I go back with my lighter color, and I'm kind of going over it and blend a little bit of the areas. Kind of come down a little alongside the windows. And it's just, I just want it to be subtle and almost like a watercolor look. So I don't mind having rough edges, uneven edges, I should say. And then I'm going to go back with the dark and get in here and behind all this, do this banister. And then I am going to just put a little bit of color on the steps like this, maybe a little bit behind here, under this bush. Maybe I'll kind of put a little bit up there again. And then I go back again. I just keep going back and forth until I get to the point that I like. And I'm just going to go in and around this, kind of blend all that. That's about it. And it's really just, and I don't care if I did that, if I'm just leaving everything rough. Okay, so this is going to get adhered to your crumb cake. And let's see, just like that, get a little frame, center it in there. So let's build our card. I'm going to take the crumb cake base, the Seaside Spray card base, and we're making a card this way. I started with this piece of Seaside Spray Designer Series paper and just centered it. Make sure I've used the words. Make sure the words are facing up. Then I took my Night of Navy, and all I did was rip off. I want this rough edge, and just rip it off. I ripped off maybe, half an inch or so. I don't like that sticking out so much, so I can go back in. And that's it. So then with some what I do with this is I put it right up against the side of the DSP. Okay, then I have the Seaside Spray ribbon and the burlap ribbon. So I took a piece of the burlap ribbon, maybe about, I don't know, a little over 4 inches. Did the same with this one. Okay, and then I put some tape, adhesive down, and I laid my burlap across here, just like that. And then I put a little bit more on it, and I laid, excuse me, my Seaside Spray and burlap ribbon on top of that. Then I'm going to take this, and I want, let's see, some dimensionals. Just like that. Get rid of these things. And if you're not a subscriber of Paper Pumpkin, you really should be. It's kind of fun. It's nice. I like getting surprised each month. It's not always cards, but I'm going to put that on like that. And then let me trim my ribbon. I like this one a little shorter, so I'm going to cut this one down like that. And same thing over here. That one's about the right length. Okay, then I'm going to take this. Now I'm not going to put this on dimensionals. I'm just going to put some adhesive. Oops, I did the wrong corner. Top area, and I'm just going to put this down like this. Right, like that, and make sure my words are straight. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but with our alcohol markers, you can take our basic pearls and you can color them. So I'm going to take a few of the small ones and I'm going to color them with my dark crumb cake marker. Okay, because these are alcohol markers, they work great, so you can make your pearls any colors that you want. And they take a couple seconds to dry, so I'm going to, let's color this while we're waiting before we put our pearls on. So for this, I just wanted that washy watercolor look again. So I took my dark crumb cake and just put some swooshes on there. And now my light crumb cake, I'm going to do that. And I don't care if it goes over. It's just to kind of, it's just supposed to look like I watercolored it. And it doesn't matter if it's messy looking. Now, I know flowers and leaves aren't, well, I guess we could have blue flowers, but I know leaves aren't necessarily blue. So if you don't like this, you don't have to do it this way. But I just went in and put in some dark because I'm only looking for a watercolor look, and I just kind of like how this came out. So if you don't like this type of thing, you don't have to make your leaves and flowers blue like I did. I just think it goes so nicely with the card. Okay, so now we'll get back to our pearls. They've dried a bit. And if you don't have these paper snips, they are like the best scissors. They're only $10. They're very sharp. The very tip of them is kind of bent a little. I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but they're great for picking up these pearls. And if you, I have a set that's, I think I lost the, I'm going to have to make another one. I think it lost its stick. Oh yeah, the glue is sticking still on the thing there. No wonder it didn't stick. Uh-oh. My goodness. They're jumping all over the place. Okay, so I'll put this on there, and we have a little pearl. I'm going to touch it up a little bit because I did it when it was still a little wet and most of the crumb cakes on my finger. So there we have that card. So I hope you enjoyed both of these cards. One's a little bright and one's a little muted. But I made them both with the paper pumpkin stamp set and the extra stamp that we received, which I wanted to put it in front of me. Oh, here it is. There we go. So we only have a couple more days left of March and celebration. So if you're interested in shopping, please use my March host code. If your order is $50 or more, you get to choose a celebration item. That's $50 in product. And also this month, I'm offering my beautiful friendship card kit for free if you place a $50 or more order. Okay, so that's it. Please like my video. Hit the like if you like it. And I'll see you around. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.